All right, welcome everybody out there, and especially if you're listening on international shortwave on WBCQ out of Monticello, Maine on 7490. We welcome you. This is Amateur Radio Roundtable, and that's a show about ham radio. And we're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to do some different things tonight, but we're glad to have you. Shortwave listeners, many of us started off as shortwave listeners, and that's what this group's for. Shortwave listeners, ham radio, electronics, you name it, we can do it. Join our Facebook group, if you will. We have a Facebook group called W5KUB, and it has about 13,000 hams in it last time I looked at it. So we got a big group of a lot of people that I think you'd enjoy being in the group with. We talk about just about everything out there, ham radio related. So please join that. Also, let's see. I need to remind you of this. Yeah, hey, if you will, man, hit that subscribe button. I know some of you don't know where it is, so I'm putting a little arrow there to show you kind of where to look for it. It's down in that area somewhere, or at least it's supposed to be. I don't know. So hit that subscribe button. Hey, hit the bell button if you want to get notified when we come on, because we do come on sometimes in the middle of the week and different times with special things going on, and you don't want to miss it. As I mentioned, we're on WBCQ. Let's see. Yeah, there it is, WBCQ. Boy, tell you, I wouldn't want to live up here, man. That's summertime. That's summertime in Maine right there, man. Oh, man. Woo! Hate to see what winter is. WBCQ 7490. And we're on every podcast out there, from iTunes to iNet Radio, Google Play. You can find us out there if you just want to listen to the show. So thanks everybody for joining us tonight. And hey, I've been hearing from a few of our people that are listening on our podcast. Send me an email if you listen to the podcast. Tell me how you enjoy it, what we need to do different, and I'd just like to hear from you to see how well we're doing with our podcast, because we don't get a lot of feedback on it. But I saw the other day that we've had something like 50,000 downloads here, so that's not too bad. All right, so let's see. Let's jump around the room here real quick with our guest and with Glenn and see what's going on. So, Glenn, come on in here and tell us what's happening down in Mississippi.
Well, let's see. I've been having a lot of fun. I told you a couple weeks ago I had my air conditioner had to be replaced, and now we've got the pool getting refinished.
Yeah.
So got that. Got the whole shack torn down, getting ready to put the new rigs up into place. But really, for me right now, it's just been work and working on the book right now. It's getting close to deadline, so that's when I really start spending all the time working.
Well, get that shack put back together so you can get on the air with us. Man, let me ask you something, Glenn. I think I got way too much stuff over here, to tell you the truth. And as much as I make the cables really neat, in about 30 minutes, if you look back there, it looks like a rat's nest. How does that happen?
I don't know, but mine's the same. I had everything nice and neat, and then I pulled the old rigs down, and everything just looks like a rat's nest right now.
Yeah, a rat nest. They're tied in knots. They're tangled up. I just don't know, man.
And they call this wireless.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yes.
Well, there's a lot of wires behind this desk over here, I tell you. Oh, there's so many wires. I mean, I hate to crawl back there. I might not come back out, Well,
I think I've got like 7 runs of coax going up outside.
Oh, man.
So, that's how much I've got running around in here. I mean, I can show you real quick.
I mean, there's all kinds of accessories and stuff besides that. You got watt meters and SWR meters,
but you can see all the cables just kind of laying around.
Man, oh man. Well, Rich, do you have that problem? You're up in New Jersey, man. You got a whole basement, I think, don't you, to operate from?
Yeah, you don't want to see the back end of my shack table because it looks like his, maybe even more.
Man.
But
well, We need to maybe
Plus,
that
I've got
maybe
boxes full of QRP stuff that
yeah.
is put away until I get it out to use it or take it out in the field with me.
Maybe that can be a project that we do on a show one night, and we'll assign Glenn to do that segment to talk about how to tidy up all your cables and stuff. I think that might be
You can
pretty
call it
neat.
Extreme Ham Shack Makeover.
Yeah, man.
I'll volunteer mine.
All right. Hey, we got another person with us tonight, Dale Klonin, KC3TAU. And Dale, come on in here, man. You're tell us where you are. You're over somewhere around Washington, aren't you?
That's right. Thank you for having me on the show. And I'm here in Baltimore, just south of the city at BWI Airport right now.
Okay, all right. And you're a firefighter, and we're going to talk about something you did tonight. You got involved in some of the emergency nets in Hurricane Ian. Is it Ian?
Yeah.
Ian?
Hurricane Ian.
Yeah, Hurricane Ian, and you were involved in, I think, some rescue communications there. We'll talk about that in just a moment. And but you're a firefighter. You're on duty right now. So, so if the bell rings, we're going to watch you run
Disappear.
to the pole. We're going to watch you run to the pole and slide down it. Okay.
That works for me.
All right, and if that happens, we'll pick up next week where we left off. That means you'll have to climb up the pole and then come back in front of the camera, So, but anyway, that's great, man. We're glad to have you tonight.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to hearing the story. I read part of it in an article, and it sounded really, really cool what you did there. All right, so hey, Rich, you want to go ahead and let's get started and talk about real quick CQ Magazine, and I'm anxious to know what's coming up.
Alrighty. Oh, we're a couple of weeks behind schedule on the show, so the magazine is actually here, and it's our emergency communication special, as we do every October. So that fits right in with what you're going to be talking with Dale about. And it's magazines out there now, both digital and print, so everybody who's a subscriber to either of our editions should definitely have it by now. And if you're not yet a subscriber, there's a great opportunity to still get it. We've got this is our emergency communication special, but we've got a whole lot of different things in here. We got a couple of different anniversaries and things like that. So there's a lot of stuff. One of the things I want to start out with, though, is we have made a few little changes to our contest policy regarding stations from Russia and Belarus in light of the Ukraine war. We had previously limited stations in Russia and Belarus to submitting logs as check logs. And after long discussions with members of our contest committee and contesting community, we decided to loosen that up just a tiny bit. We still feel that it's important to show that the whole invasion is wrong, and that silence is acquiescence. So we cannot be totally silent on it. But starting with the CQ Worldwide DX contest, single sideband weekend coming up at the end of this month, stations in Russia and Belarus will be able to submit logs as usual. However, and the listings, they'll be listed where they are score-wise, but it will be like late logs that are designated as not eligible for certificates or plaques. They can have their scores listed, but they're not going to be able to have certificates or plaques, not even, the downloadable participation certificates. And we also removed the restrictions on stations in the rest of the world contacting the stations in Russia and Belarus. They will count for regular credit. We realized that we were essentially punishing hams around the world by removing a couple of zones from their possibility for scores. So we've made those kind of little changes. We're also going to be working to either initiate a humanitarian program to support the people of Ukraine, either through an existing organization or something entirely new. We'll be continuing to work on that. So that's just a small tweak to the policy, and wanted to let people know about that, effective with the CQ Worldwide sideband weekend, which is October 29th and 30th, looking at the official CQ calendar. And speaking of calendars, I just got word today that our 2023-2024 calendars are in. We've got two different varieties this year: the traditional amateur radio calendar with people and stations and activities. And we also have something brand new this year, the Ham Radio Project calendar, with a variety of different kinds of projects that have been featured in CQ over the last couple of years. So get your choice of either one of those. They are $14.95 plus shipping. Shipping varies depending on whether it's US, Canada, Mexico, or DX. But that's your base price. So if you've pre-ordered, they should be shipping very soon. And if you haven't ordered yet, there's still plenty of time. Just go to our website and place your order. So looking at our MCOM special, we start with a really, really interesting story called MCOM from the Ground Up. It's about hams in Poland who basically had to create a whole emergency communications infrastructure. There has not been an MCOM structure in Poland as we're used to having here in the United States and in several other countries. And over the last several years, this group called the Masovian Amateur Radio Network has basically built an MCOM network in and around the capital city of Warsaw. And they're getting a lot of good traction and demonstrating amateur radio at aviation fairs and things like that. So it's a really fascinating article about starting from scratch to build an emergency communications network where there was none before. In our emergency communications column, K3PFW writes about a philosophical approach to go kits. Most of us know what a go kit is. Box or a bag full of radio gear to take with you. And so John takes a look at a philosophical approach to it, which you really have to read to follow and understand, but it's very, very useful reading. Scott Roosh, W9JU, who's a regular contributor to our MCOM special, is the Saturn coordinator for Wisconsin and Upper Michigan, and he's got an article this year on developing your radio voice, which, you know, those of us who grew up in broadcast radio know that a radio voice is something that sounds a little different from your regular speaking voice. It's almost like that, but not quite. It's more about how you enunciate and how you make your messages clear and concise than how low you can make your voice go.
Yeah.
But a lot of good advice there. Or should I say, a lot of good advice there.
I love that accent, man. I love it. Why don't you do the rest of the show with that? If you can, it might be a little difficult. You know, hey, one of the things is, one of the things people need to learn is get into the microphone and modulate that microphone a little bit. You know, that's one of the big things.
Overmodulate either.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, I'll give it a try here.
No, you don't. You don't have to do it. I know it'd be difficult, but you can try if you want to.
Oh, let's see how long it lasts.
Hey, and we'll get everybody in the chat room to rate you on a 1 to 10. You know, if they like it or not like it. Okay, here we go.
Just remember, my career in broadcast radio was brief.
Yeah.
Moving on, we've got take you back to the 1950s and 60s. Classic rock and classic MCOM from the Los Angeles Emergency Communications Corps. And how MCOM was done in LA in the 1950s and 60s. That's by W0RW, who also has a second article in the 21st century on how to get amateur radio on the homepage of your local sheriff's department. Then we move into our anniversaries. This month, October, marks the 50th anniversary of our friends at MFJ Enterprises. October 1972, Martin F. Jew started with his first product, and he's been going strong ever since. We've got a piece on that, plus a CQ Classic. We've got 2 CQ Classics in this issue. Our first CQ Classic is a report we did back in 2000 on taking a tour of the MFJ factory and the rest of their facilities down in Mississippi. So we reprinted that. It's also this month, right, last week, the 65th anniversary of the space age, the launch of Sputnik in October of 1957, October 4th. And we've got a great story here on how high school hams tracked Sputnik. These group of high schoolers in Cleveland, Ohio, were featured all over the news because they were among the first to actually monitor the signals coming down from Sputnik. And in fact, they had the FBI come and take their tapes away.
Is that right?
They got them back eventually. Their advisor at the time, W8KTZ, wrote an article for CQ in 1958 about the experience. So that's our second CQ Classic. Fame and Fortune via Sputnik 1. And by the way, Michael Stimac, W8KTZ, is still with us. He is 99 years old and still going strong from what I'm told. And moving from the 1950s to the 2020s, we follow that up with a story by KB2JRP called Aris to the Max. Norm, who works at the Challenger Center in Paramus, New Jersey, put together a group of 7 different Challenger centers to have an amateur radio on the International Space Station contact this summer. It was quite a feat of coordination. We also have a little piece on NASA on the Air. This is a program we just found out about. Unfortunately, it's been going on all year. Various NASA facilities around the country have been celebrating milestones of America's space program all year long. There's still stuff coming up. This month, from the 15th to the 25th, there's a special event celebrating the anniversary, on the 15th, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the launch of the Cassini probe. There's a special event on November 1st through 6th, and then on December 7th through 19th, and a special event celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 17 mission. So lots of cool stuff going on there. Plus, Gordo, in his Short Circuits column, talks about twice the ISS excitement. With new gear on the International Space Station, we've got a dual-band voice repeater as well as a packet digipeater accessible anytime that the space station is in view of your antenna. And the only time they turn that off is when they're getting on to do voice. You never know. Coming back down to Earth, we've got some interesting battery stuff. Calibrating smart batteries with impedance tracking. A good way to, really good explanation by Isidore Buckman of KDEX on how smart batteries work and monitor their charges and know when to stop and stuff like that. And then we have a little fun with the Flutenna, which is actually a 2-meter antenna, and there's also a 440 version made from a flute. This is put together by the Ham Club at Case Western Reserve University, where a lot of the club members are also musicians, and one of the members donated a flute to the cause, and they loaded it up on 2 meters, and actually made contact with it. So,
Hey! I just got to say this. I just got to say this. I like that story. When I was a novice, well, actually, after I was a novice, I talked to this old timer over in Tennessee. I was in Arkansas, and he had always a big signal. He's probably running 20,000 watts. Anyway, he told me I sounded like a piccolo. Now that kind of goes along with your flute story there, but my signal sounded like a piccolo. So I don't know what the flute sounded like. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. I haven't heard it either, so I'm not sure, but definitely put a couple of notes on the signal there. And we've got, to wrap up our feature stories, 2 articles of memories from operating out of Antarctica. I think, Tom, you mentioned to me you've got something coming up soon relating to Antarctica. And these are 2 stories about hams who were operating down there different times. Ted Cohen, N4XX, and Stu Gilmore, W1FK, were both involved with research in the 50s and 60s, I think it was. I guess it was 61, 62. Actually, they were both there in 1961, but in different places at different times. And they reminisce about their time there. Moving to our columns, in Matt's notes, we've got simple low-cost test equipment continued. Erwin does a simple oscilloscope tester in this issue, which is easy to build and easy to use. For our shortwave listeners, our listening post column reports on Algeria opening a powerful new shortwave transmitter, and Radio Australia, in quotes, returning to the air with very low power. It's called Shortwave Australia, actually. It's not really the old Radio Australia. Shortwave Australia is operating from 4 megahertz and 2 megahertz with only 100 watts. So it's going to be rather difficult to tune them in, but it's a challenge, that's for sure. In our kit building column, Joe Eisenberg, K0NEB, writes about a variable power supply kit. And in Learning Curve, KO0Z reviews the MFJ 1836H cobweb antenna. Very interesting antenna, somewhat like a hex beam, but a little different. And in our antennas column, WA5VJB describes some really broadband antennas for the gigahertz range that operate basically using pizza platters, pizza dishes. So they're the antennas. So you got interesting stuff there. In our QRP column, low power, so you have to go really low with your voice. KA8SMA writes about the amazing POTO race. Parks on the air, and they have an annual program that he was involved with, and writes about his fun with it. In our awards column, we've got awards from Hong Kong, which are really interesting. The Hong Kong Firecracker Award, the 9 Dragons Award, which is similar to Berkdal Zones, and a bunch of others. In our DX column, N200 writes about QSLing, the dying art thereof, and wants to get you to keep it alive, not necessarily with paper cards, although they certainly have their value, but talks about how to use OQRS, direct mail, bureau, but it's still really important to provide some confirmation of the contacts that you make. And Bob's got some good tips on the best ways to do that and to get the confirmations you need. In our contesting column, N3QE writes about some evolutionary and revolutionary changes in the rules for the ARRL sweepstakes. If you enjoy operating sweepstakes, definitely you should be reading this column and see what is changing. And finally, in our propagation column, Thomas Hood, NW7US, writes about the impressive progression so far of Sunspot Cycle 25. It is outperforming the predictions of everybody except the Mavericks that we've been periodically reporting on, who are predicting a very, very strong cycle, and it's beginning to look like they could be right because it's going where they were predicting it. So that's a look at the highlights of the October issue of CQ, now available online at ham stores and in your mailbox. We have a subscription special going on at our website, www.cq-amateur-radio.com. For each year that you sign up for, you get an extra issue. So instead of 12, 24, or 36 issues, you get 13, 26, or 39 issues, print or digital, and applies to both of them, and you can do combos and all sorts of stuff. So between that special and the calendars, we've got plenty to throw you in there and keep you informed and entertained every month of the year. I think that's about it for now.
All right. Well, a
I'm
lot of
looking
neat
forward to
things
that.
go, a
I've
lot of
got
neat
the,
things going on there, and you know, you did pretty good on the accent there for a while. You kind of faded off, but I think, you know, I think you could be right up there with old Moondog. Who was that? Alan Freed, maybe?
Well, yeah, good old Wolfman.
Well, Wolfman, Alan Freed. Probably most of the people in our chat room don't even know who Alan Freed is.
Including me.
You don't know who Alan Freed is?
No, I've met Wolfman, but don't know anybody other than that.
Oh, man. Rich, do you know who Alan Freed was?
The name is familiar, but I'm not.
Come
placing
on,
it exactly
guys.
where.
Come on. He was the guy that started rock and roll up here in the Northeast, and they kept trying to arrest him and, you know, all that stuff, man. Alan Freed. I can't believe this. Man.
Was he at WMCA in New York?
I don't know. I can't believe this, man. I can't believe it, man.
It's just you, Tom.
Yeah, you got to go watch the movie with Alan Freed, man.
I guess some of us aren't old enough to remember that.
Oh, geez,
Ooh, ouch.
man. I guess I'm a little older than you guys. And okay, well, hey, man,
you
a
know,
lot of
hearing
neat
you
things
talk.
there, man, and looking forward to you know, enjoying those articles there in CQ magazine. And you mentioned Hong Kong. That's one of my favorite places. In my last job for many years, I made a lot of trips to Hong Kong. And let me tell you something, man. The area I stayed in was rows and rows and rows of shops with glass windows, and all they had in there were radios. You could have bought any kind of radio you wanted, man. And I don't know how they do it over there.
Yeah.
Wow.
By the way, Rich, I've got one of those MFJ 1836s, and I really, really like mine. It's great for a small area.
That's good to know. Yeah.
All right.
The basic
Well,
conclusion that our reviewer came to.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Everybody go out and get that calendar, too. Sorry, I'm not on it this year. I was on it last year. It's hard to believe that time passes so fast. Rich?
I know it's time for a 2023 calendar already. Jeez.
Yeah. Okay.
We've got them.
Well, thank you, Rich. You're welcome to stick along with us the rest of the show if you want to. Whatever you need to do, just feel free to do it there. All right. Let's do this real quick.
Stick around for Dale's.
Okay. Let's do this real quick. We'll be right back, guys, and just stand by with us here.
LDG Electronics provides state-of-the-art antenna tuners for every amateur need. From QRP to QRO, fixed stations, portable and remote, an LDG tuner will match your radio to your antenna using our lightning-fast, proprietary tuning algorithms. LDG is a family-owned and operated company dedicated to bringing innovative, quality products to the amateur market. All LDG products carry a full 2-year warranty that is fully transferable. Support is only a phone call or email away. We're always here to help you. Visit us on the web at ldgelectronics.com.
Keep your competitive contesting edge with ICOM. ICOM's high-powered base stations cut through the pileups, letting you work the bands and record those contacts. Contest from the comfort of your home or remotely with the RS BA1 app. The IC7851 gives you a new window into the RF world and is HF excellence unparalleled with faster processors, higher input gain, higher display resolution, and a cleaner signal. is truly the pinnacle of HF perfection. It has dual receivers, digital IF filters, high-resolution spectrum waterfall. The IC7610 is a direct sampling, software-defined radio that has changed the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. Features include RF direct sampling, 110 dB RMDR, independent dual receivers. Create your own band opening with the IC9700. This transceiver brings direct sampling to the UHF VHF weak signal world. This all-mode transceiver is loaded with innovative features that are sure to keep you very busy. It has fast processors, higher input gain, higher display resolution, and a cleaner signal. Included are real-time high-speed spectrum scope and waterfall display, smooth satellite operation with 99 satellite channels, dual watch operation, and full duplex operation in satellite mode. The IC7300 is the high-performance innovative HF transceiver with a compact design, and it will far exceed your expectations. This innovative HF transceiver digitizes RF before various receiver stages, reducing inherent noise in different IF stages. The IC7300 changed the way entry-level HF is designed. Features include RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, a large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope. For more information on ICOM radios, visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur. All right, we are back, guys, and boy, I tell you, oh man, I feel bad. Can't believe it. I don't know who Alan Freed is, man. That really hurts. It hurts me. I'm thinking now about just closing the show down and retiring. That means I must be getting like really, really old. I've been looking for an excuse to do it anyway, you know.
Wait a minute, Tom. You're already retired.
Well, yeah.
You can't close the show
yeah,
down.
but you know what? I still spend a couple of days a week trying to get the show together. But anyway, okay.
What
I'll
would
tell you what.
do if you shut the show
For next
down?
week,
You
I
wouldn't
want
have anything
everybody.
to
I
do.
want everybody to do a Google search on Alan Freed, watch the videos, and come back next week, and we're going to talk about Alan Freed next week. We'll do that. All right, guys. Hey, next we got a great guest with us tonight. We got Dale Klonin with us, KC3TAU. I think that's Klonin. That's Klonin, isn't it? Did I pronounce that?
Klonin.
Klonin. Okay, Dale Klonin. And I ran into an article about Hurricane Ian and, you know, all the problems going on down there and the disaster. And I found an article with Dale here being involved in that with ham radio and emergency nets and helping with some rescue operations. So, Dale, first of all, let me just say this. Dale is at work right now. And if the alarm goes off, he's going to have to run and slide down the pole because he's there, I think, at the fire station at where is it?
BWI Airport outside of Baltimore.
BWI. See, I knew all those three-letter identifiers when I was at FedEx, but I couldn't remember that one. So he's got if the alarm goes, he's gone, and we'll pick up with him again next week. But so hey Dale, you're relatively new in ham radio as far as your general license. So when did you get your tech license?
Well, first of all, thanks for having
Yeah.
me. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you. I got my tech license about this time last year, October, November.
Mm-hmm.
And played with that for about a month and got kind of bit by the bug and went right for general. And now I've spent way too much money, but I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Well, I know what you mean. You know, you're relatively new. A year or two into the hobby. I'm 58 years into the hobby, and I mean, I don't think my son's logged in tonight, but he's gonna have to get a massive trailer to come up here and get this stuff. And he lives down in Texas right now. I don't know how he's gonna get it. I feel sorry for him. So because of that, I'm gonna try to stick around as long as I can because I don't want him to have to deal with this stuff, man. But after a few years, you're gonna keep buying stuff and keep trading and keep doing stuff, and you're gonna, you know, you're going to end up with quite a bit.
my wife is watching right now, and I'm pretty sure
no.
she is.
Is she?
She's probably not happy to hear that, but
Yeah, no, there's no such thing as too much money in your ham radio gear.
Yeah, well, man, I tell you, well, hey, it's a good hobby at least. You know, if you spend all your money on a ham radio, you don't have money to, run out to all the nightclubs to get drugs. So, tell your wife that, hey, it's a good hobby to be at your home. Yeah, you could buy a couple, a few $1,000 bass boat and, go out on the lake every morning early. So it's a good hobby. So, yeah. That's great, man. I'm glad.
Well, there's another way you can do this too, and that's for every penny you spend on ham radio, she gets to spend it on herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, don't let her hear that.
Too late. I think she did.
Well, and here's one thing, and I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it, just for the wives. And when we're gone, please don't sell our equipment for what we told you we spent on it. Okay, just don't do it. Just triple it if you want to. It'll be worth a little bit more money then. All right, well, back to you. So yeah, you got interested in ham radio. You did great. You upgraded, and hey, that upgrade is allowing you to do things now, like check in on HF nets and so forth. And tell us about what happened with Hurricane Ian and how you participated.
Yeah, well, I first got into ham radio specifically for ecom, and like I said, just fell into the hobby and kind of immersed myself in it. And that day, my wife actually has family down in Sarasota. They didn't evacuate, so we were a little concerned with them. So we were trying to keep in contact with them, and I had brought up everything on my computer as far as weather related. I'm a Skywarn spotter, so I'm a little bit of a weather nerd. I love it. And whenever the Weather Channel goes to red alert, and I try to find where Jim Cantori is and focus things there. So I had everything up and running. I was listening to the Florida Emergency Net, which had some of the local EOCs and shelters that were listening in on that. And on the other VFO, I had the Hurricane Watch Net. And I was just kind of flipping back and forth between the two. Just listening, see, they were calling for damage reports every 10 minutes, any emergency communications coming out of the area, just in case something happened or we couldn't get a hold of our family. I could at least try and get a message down there, or if I heard somebody needed to get a message out, I might be able to help that way. And I was just there. Every once in a while I'd flip back and forth, make a quick QSO, parks on the air, something like that, and flip back. And the day before, I had taken my wife's car to just get routine service, oil change, tire rotation. And I took it to a company called JLS up in Hanover, Pennsylvania, which I live in Maryland, but it's only about eight miles from the Pennsylvania line up in Carroll County. So about 4:00, I get a call saying it's ready. So my mother, ever since my father passed away, she moved in with us, and she's actually on a cruise right now to Canada. But my wife was working from home. It was still in the middle of her workday, and we jump in the other car and go up to get my wife's car. And I go in, I start settling the bill, and Allie, the woman behind the counter, I just started making small talk, and started talking about the hurricane and how we had family down there, but they seemed to be doing okay. And Allie, I could tell her face kind of changed, that she was a little concerned about something. And she's like, my sister's on Sanibel Island, and I know from watching all day that's where the hurricane had made landfall. So she's like, I haven't heard from my sister in 4 hours at least. And she starts showing me her phone, and she's showing me these pictures. and she showed me, she goes, this was at 10 a.m. and she shows me a picture of her boyfriend's, truck, which is completely submerged. And then she shows me another picture where the water is up to the second floor of her house, and that was at noon. And she goes, I haven't heard anything from them since. And, she's like, the last thing they said is that they were okay and that the water hadn't, taken the second floor. To where I looked at her and I hate to laugh, but I said, Allie, that's not okay at all. It's in fact the exact opposite of okay.
Yeah.
And she said, well, I know they didn't prepare, and she goes, but they do have a sat phone. And I said, have they tried reaching out on that? And she's like, no, we haven't gotten anything from them. I said, well, let me get all their information from you. I'm a ham radio operator. I've been listening to these, frequencies and stuff all morning. They're asking for emergency traffic. I said, they're not really quite doing check on welfares yet, but I will see if they'll accept a message and at least get the people that need to know where they are to help them. They'll have that information when they are able to go in and assess the situation. So she gives me her sister Kelsey, her phone number, and her boyfriend's number. Nathan, I believe is his name. Nate. Their address on the island. And I take that. It's about a 20-minute drive home. And I'm on my way home, and right as I'm pulling up to the house, she texts me again. She's like, they reached out on the sat phone, which the sat phone turned out to be a Garmin InReach communicator. My wife and I have one for hiking, and they were like the third group of people that I know that actually have one. Not the cheapest things in the world for most hikers. So, but I could tell that the text was kind of one of those that's like, I'm trying not to worry you, but I'm scared kind of text. And it said that that they were safe. The island is destroyed. The house is battered but standing. We're getting our butts handed to us, the clean version. This is gonna continue all night. I love you. And that's all she said. And I'm like, that's really not a good sign. So I go in, I get on the radio, I call down on the Florida emergency net, which I think was 7.242, so 40 meters. And John, I got his name pulled up. I can't remember his last name. John Hurlman, KM4WHO, was net controller that day, or at that time. And he acknowledged me, and I said, I have a report of some people trapped on Sanibel Island. Water had come up to the second floor of their house. Don't know how far up, it's gotten since. This is a little bit, old information. But I have their contact information. I have their address. Are you able to relay that to the Emergency Operations Center? Because I could have fumbled around on the internet and tried to find the right number and then bounced around, and the whole time that's just wasting time. The people down there already have this stuff in place, So he took all the information, and even before I had gotten off the air, he had come back and said, the Operations Center wants more information. And I said, well, what do they want to know? They said, well, they want to know why they didn't call 911. Well, there's no cell service. There's nothing, absolutely nothing. No power. They all they have is this satellite communicator. So I said, look, why don't we take this offline, go to my QRZ page, get my email address, and we'll, I can send you everything that I have. So he does that, sends me an email. I sent him everything I had, and with the Garmin communicator, I was able to get their GPS coordinates too. So sent all the screenshots to him of all the text messages. And he writes back that he has notified the EOC, the state EOC, and they've notified Lee County, and that as soon as weather allows, they'll get rescue operations underway and be one of the first places they go. So I text Allie back and I said, they have all the information. They know where your sister and her boyfriend are. and it'll be one of the first places they go when the weather allows. And she texts back. She's like, "Thank you very much." She goes, "I really, really appreciate this." She goes, "Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, there's also 8 other people and a dog with them." So I was like, "Oh, that's." She goes, "I'm sorry, I was so worried about my sister, I forgot to mention that." It's like, not a problem. So I jumped back on the radio and I called back down to John. I said, "Hey, just an update. I'm getting information that there's a party of 10 plus a dog. So it's, there's 8 more people with this group." And he acknowledged that and forwarded it to the EOC. So it's now about probably a little after 5, maybe closer to 6. And I'm texting Allie and I'm like, "If you hear anything else, just let me know. I can pass the information along. If they make contact with you, let me know the situation. If they, and try to get as much information as you can from them." And she agreed. So right around 6:00, 6:30, I believe it was, she texted me back. She goes, "I was able to have a really quick video chat with Kelsey." She said, "Everything's destroyed." She goes, "But they are and their party are safe for now." To which I replied, this is after 22 years in emergency services. I'm like, you're safe until you're not, and this is not something. This is something that can turn very unsafe and life threatening in a heartbeat. So I told her, I said, "They still have the information. Tell them not to go anywhere unless they absolutely have to." And she wrote back. She goes, "They understand that, but," she goes, "they want to know if you can help out with somebody else." I said, "Sure, give me the information." She had their neighbor's house caught on fire, and the occupants, it was an 89-year-old woman, her son, and his wife. And when they went to flee, the elderly woman was swept away in the floodwaters, and the son went in after him. I'm like, okay, now we have people in the water. So again, I called down to John and I said, "All right, now this is an emergency." I said, "I've got a report of people in the water." And I gave their last known location, and the address of the house. The mother, the wife of the gentleman, was safe in the neighbor's house. But they didn't know where he was. And with the limited cell service that they were getting, his phone was actually pinging, as far as the I guess iPhone has that Find My Phone app. It was pinging in the middle of the causeway. So I relayed all that information, and this is going on like 6, 7 o'clock. And my wife, thank you so much for her, because I'm doing all this stuff, and next thing I know, there's a plate of food coming in front of me because she's realized I haven't had anything to eat since lunch. And I made sure they had all the information. He relayed it and checked back with me, made sure it was okay. That I given that he copied the information correctly. And I just kept communication with Allie throughout the rest of the night. And I said, "If you hear anything, let me know." So when the hurricane had moved on, and it was starting to get off the coast of Florida, I shut my station down. I was like, "All right, time for me to go to bed. Been doing this all day." And I woke up in the morning. Allie texted me, and she said they found that the authorities had gotten to Kelsey, and everybody was safe. And she also said that Kelsey had one of the only working vehicles on the island, and the police took it to make even more rescues, since it was a 4-wheel drive vehicle. So they and with the other 3, unfortunately, they found the father. He was fine. Unfortunately, the grandmother, they were unable to save her, but they saved a lot of other people with Kelsey's vehicle. And when they got off the island, they were actually interviewed by the South Florida Sentinel, something like that. And Kelsey gave the firsthand account of what they went through. She was covered in mud. She said they were almost up in their attic. They had friends that were up in their attic. They never realized that it could be this bad. And she's, thankful that, of course, they made out her boyfriend's in the parking lot. They finally had cell service, calling all the family members, telling them they're alive. And she texted back to her sister that she was so thankful that I had that radio crap, because they really appreciated that somebody was looking out for them.
Wow, that's an amazing story there. So it went from a small group to a big group, and it just, as you said, it got into an emergency. Well, hey, I would think emergency would have been minute one there, but it really got bad. I haven't really thought much about this, but looking back at the hurricane, that went through New Orleans, and people went up in their attics, and they died because they were trapped in their attics, and there was no way to get out. And I hear down there now, a lot of people keep axes in their attic just so they can chop a hole, I guess, and come out if they need to. But I cannot imagine the water up through 2 stories of your house.
Yeah, no, I can't either. And I've seen a lot of things in 22 years of being in emergency services. But I teach emergency preparedness on the side a little bit, and one of the things that I really kind of harp on is after the basics is communication. We've seen it after 9/11. We've seen it after other disasters. What's the first thing that happens? All communication goes out. And what the reason, I posted this story in a ham radio the Facebook group, and it just exploded. And the whole reason I did it, it's not to brag that the H word doesn't sit well with me. I've been the guy that runs into the burning building and does all that stuff. This is, and I'm humbled that people consider me in that regard. I really do. But the reason I wanted to tell the story was because the people that were getting the information, even when the storm passed and they were operating on 2 meters or 70 centimeters, communicating with all the shelters and communicating with the people like the Cajun Navy and all the emergency operations centers, they never get any of the credit, and they're vital to a disaster operation, and people never hear about them. They're the unsung heroes behind the scenes. I mean, us, I'm relatively new to the hobby, but us ham radio operators, we're the ones that can go out in the middle of nowhere, throw an antenna in a tree, and start talking to people. And we do it for fun. Imagine what we can do in an emergency, when we put our minds to it. Yeah. And that's why I wanted the story told. It was one of those, feel good stories that kind of, what are the chances, boy walks into a auto garage, and next thing you know, he's swept up in this, this situation. And the response afterwards, that I've gotten from other hams, very touching, very humbling, and some of the best comments I got were from older hams, saying, I gotten out of the hobby for several years. This story has kind of gotten me inspired to go back into it. Even Kelsey and her friends are looking at getting their license.
That's great. Great.
So I don't know what to say. It's just very, very humbling experience, but it was a story that had to be told because I didn't do this alone. John was down there on the other end, and he talked to other people. There were other people that relayed even more messages. Other hams were sending me pictures like, I've been working 36 hours. This is my desk, and you see he's got a little mag mount on a pizza plate, and he's communicating with different shelters all around his area on 2 meters. So it was something that I was just thankful I was in the right place at the right time to give that sort of help.
Yeah, well, great job, and it had a very positive outcome. It could have been a lot worse, and I kind of like what you said a minute ago when you were talking about, we're okay now, and you said that's that can change in a heartbeat. And I guess in a disaster like this, it really can. So.
And you take it from my point of view, where it's funny if you look at the our fire gear, it comes with an instruction manual, and the first thing on the first page, it says firefighting is an ultra hazardous activity. But where you're in, we intentionally go into dangerous places. We're trained to do it, and even those things can turn on us, and we know the warning signs. But even us, we get we can get into the situations that we're not prepared for.
Yeah.
So take that to a level of people who are not prepared. And whenever I see somebody downplay something like that, it's what I teach in my course is, you have to say, it can never happen. You got to get that out of your head. It's either what's most likely, what's least likely, and what's remote. But it could happen, and you need to prepare for it.
Yeah, so a lot of people, I guess probably you really need to listen to the government and the local government people, and got to follow their instructions, because they may have a lot more information than you. They probably knew the water is going to get 15 or 20 feet high. I don't know. And then you've got people that, do want to ride these things out, and sometimes they're successful, and but many times after they start riding these things out, then they wish they had not made that decision. But then it's a little late, because you just can't get to them to help them.
Yeah, and that was, I think, what the most frustrating part was, being a responder like I am and wanting to jump in and help. But the only thing I could do, and thankfully I had the means to do it, was get a message to the people that had the ability, once the storm let up, to go there and check on them, make sure they were okay.
Well, I'm sure it was a relief on the people knowing that you were involved. At least there was the chance that, help is going to be there now. There was hope.
Right, and that's what Allie and her mother reached out to me and said, that just knowing that somebody was doing something gave them that kind of comfort.
So I wonder, when the rescue people actually got there, was the water still 10 feet deep, or do you think it had gone down by then? Or
from what I was told, the water receded fairly quickly. But it had done so much damage. Most of the first responder vehicles weren't working. Most vehicles weren't working. But it was just fortuitous that Kelsey had parked her car in an area that was 15 feet above sea level. If it had been any lower, it would have, her car would have been damaged, and it wouldn't have been any use to anybody. The only way off the island was by boat or air afterwards.
Right.
And, they were still, so they were very happy that, because they didn't have any supplies. So they got out, right away. Because if they had to wait, and if people didn't know they were there, they didn't know what they were going to do.
Yeah. Well, a lot of hams work in the area of disaster preparedness, and they have go boxes. Do you have a go box or anything like that, or?
I have several.
Do you? Well, I can imagine you would. For ham radio.
I don't have anything HF yet. I kind of do. I actually have an old IC735 that I've been using as a POTA rig, and I have that in a nice Pelican case, along with the original tuner. Both still work.
Yeah.
And a collapsible antenna, and a chameleon NFED that I could use. Plus, in each of my vehicles, I have a little emergency kit, and each has a little $20 Bofang, radio in there, with all the ham radio repeaters and anything that I need to communicate on in an emergency.
Well, I personally don't have a go kit. I would just have to grab some stuff up and throw it in a basket, I guess, and carry it out here. Glenn is saying he's got all kinds of stuff in his go kit. He's ready to go.
Yeah, it was actually in QST magazine probably about 5-6 years ago. It's a Yaesu FT450 and a Yaesu 8800 in a go box with power supply and all of that. I've got a buddy pole in a bag and a 20-meter portable beam mounted in a PVC tube. But let me say this: I actually grew up in Miami and the West Palm area and had been through a number of these storms. And let me tell you, it gets rough, but you have to go through one before you get the what's the best way to put it? The sense that you need to get out of there when the next one's coming. But you can tell them all you want to about how bad it's going to get, but until they've been through one, they'll stay.
Yeah. I've been involved in just two things over 50-something years, mostly just health and welfare. When I was a novice, 1964, I think that was when a big earthquake hit Alaska. And I had an aunt that lived up there. And as a novice, I was able then to contact someone up there and actually get in contact with her and get a message back to the family on how she's doing. And then I got involved here back, what was the big hurricane down in New Orleans here? Katrina, yeah. I got involved with that. Many people left New Orleans area and they came north, into Mississippi and into Memphis and so forth. And of course, we're located here in the Memphis area. And some people contacted me, and I was able to contact their family, who actually had moved into, and they were all surviving inside of a radio or TV station down there. So, I hadn't been involved in any real emergencies like that, but I have participated a little bit in some health and welfare stuff. And there's plenty of that to do, believe me, after these disasters. Well, Dale, hey, man, thanks for telling us your story there. It's a really interesting story, man. I loved hearing it and what you did. And I know the people that you helped down here really appreciate what you did. And like you said, there may be some new hams now just because of that.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And like I said, I couldn't have done it alone. So thank you to everybody that finished that chain from Allie to her sister. The credit goes to them as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, very good. All right. Well, we're going to kind of move on. You're welcome to stay with us if you want to stick around for a while or leave, or if you got to go polish the brass or something, you can go do that,
Well, I will tell you that I've been up since 4 a.m, and my bed over here is calling my name.
Okay.
So I will definitely say 73 to everybody out there. Thank you again very much. And I hope to see you guys down the log.
Okay. Well, very good. Thank you. And 73, good night, man. Get some good sleep. Maybe there won't be any alarms tonight, and you can just sleep all night, man.
Thanks for the jinx.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. All right, man. Good night, dear. All right. Well, Glenn, hey, man, it's right about 9:05. I was going to, and I will. Well, I wanted to see if we can make some contacts with some of our people, and I was just going to webcast it here as they came in. And, I had my radio set up here where it outputted into the show here, the S meter, and let's see what we got here. But it quit on me. Let me see if I can get it to come back up here. I doubt it. I was wanting people to be able to see the S meter. Well, let me add it here if I can.
That don't look real good.
No, let me see if I can add it. Video. Let's see if it is. Add back in. I doubt it. Add. Oh, boy. And that was going to be the neat part of the show, to be able to let you see your signal. Let me go wiggle the connection here, see if I can make it come up. And this is HDMI connections from the back of the radio all the way over to the studio there. And let's see. Let me unplug it and plug it in.
RF into it.
That what?
Maybe you got some RF into it.
No, I don't think so. it was just a little picky tonight, and oh boy, I don't know. Well, if we can't, we won't have an S meter tonight, but we will still try our HF deal here. Let me see if I can add the camera. It didn't even show up that time. Camera didn't show up. Let me try one more time. I don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah,
not
and
gonna work. Okay, all right. Well, we're gonna do this. We will have a camera over there. What is that question mark doing on there?
yeah. Now, one thing Andy mentioned that he never evacuated for any of those, and yeah, I didn't either, Andy. But you know, it's kind of strange. Either they made the houses better back then, or I just got lucky. Because I had a second floor apartment, and after seeing what happened over there in Sanibel, a friend of mine had her condo. It was a 2-3 story condo that literally it was actually on pilings above the first floor was made for floodwaters, and the hurricane took the whole thing off the foundation, and the second and third floors were down the street. I mean, that stretch of sand right on the beach where her condo was just has 4 broken telephone poles, essentially.
Yeah. Okay, hey guys, what we're going to do, I want to start off. Let's start off on 40 meters. We'll try to QSY to 80 meters, 40 meters, 20 meters tonight, maybe during the next hour, because I know, many of you are different distances from us, and we're not going to hear you on certain bands. So let's start off. Let's try 40 meters first, and I'm going to pick 7180. That's up in the general band. We'll keep this all up in the general band, so we'll get the most participation. And so 7180 is where we're going to try to be. And I'll still be I can see the chat room over there. Yeah, I can still see the chat room over at the operating position. So I'm going to go over there. It'll give me a second to crank things up and get on. But we'll be on 7180. So if anybody wants to try to jump on 7180 and hold the frequency for us, you can. If the frequency is busy, we'll try to go up or we're near the bottom of the band, so we'll need to go up a few kilohertz if there's anybody using that frequency. So we're going to look at 7180. Let's see. Somebody just beat me here. Let's see what this is. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go over here and we'll see if we can get on the air. Let's see how many people from the show that we can hear tonight. And like I said, we'll try 3 different bands tonight. And this will be a kind of a cool experiment. So let me put that over there, and I'm gonna go over here, and let's see what we can do. All right. So, well, you know what? We may be able to get the S meter because the radio had gone in sleep mode, and when the radio goes in sleep mode, it doesn't put the HDMI out. Oh, gee. I mean, the HDMI signal out. Let me try one more time. We may be in luck. I don't know. Let's see. Not exactly working right. I sure wanted to get the S meter up where you guys could see it. All right, we're halfway there. Let me make one more try here.
What rig are you going to be using?
I use a 76. What is it? 7610.
Ah, okay.
It's got an HDMI output on it. The problem is I have to convert that HDMI output to a USB in here. All right, let me try again. I could restart my broadcaster, but then everybody would lose the show. So we're not going to do that tonight. We're just going to try it. I'll try to get this worked out better if we do, if we do this again. So let me get back over here, and we will. Let me get my pen, and we're ready to go. All right. Okay. I see the chat room here. Let's see. All right. Looks like I'm in the chat room. I guess you guys saw it. Let's see what's. Let's see what we hear. 40 don't sound real good right now, but we're going to see. Hearing a little static. And of course, there's I think there's somebody talking there. Let's see. I'm just going to ask if the frequency is in use. All right, I'm about ready here. All right. Is the frequency in use? This is Whiskey 5 Kilo Uniform Bravo. It may be Tim in there, HRO, but I can't quite make him out. There's so much static. I think it's Tim in here, so he's probably trying to give us a call. Let me make a call here and see if anybody can copy us. CQ calling us CQ. This is Whiskey 5 Kilo Uniform Bravo, W5KUB calling. Anybody around? Well, I heard Bruce in there, N7XGR W5KUB. I heard you, Bruce. I don't know if I've got enough audio for people on the show to hear, and your signal's not really loud. We got a lot of QRM. But how are you copying us, Bruce? Over?
I copy you right now about 10 over 9, and I'm using a off-center fed set for 80 meters there. Off-center fed set for 80 meters.
Okay, off-center fed antenna for 80. I got you there. Okay, boy, somebody's on really close to the frequency. Gave you a little bit of trouble that time. Let's see if anybody else from the group is in there. This is Whiskey 5 Kilo Uniform Bravo. Anybody else there? Over.
Delta 5 Papa Uniform Romeo. Kilo 8 Charlie Alpha Zulu.
Okay, boy, there's a bunch of them in here. I copied. Hey, Tim, I copied you. WB8 HRO. I copied you, Tim. I copied K8CAZ, and there were some more before that. I just didn't write them down. So let's see who else is in there. Over.
Kilo Delta 5 Papa Uniform Romeo.
Yeah, okay. Hey, Andy, I got you there. KD5PUR, got you. This is W5KUB. Andy, are you using that antenna, that off-center fed antenna that's laying on your fence? Over.
No, it's a 160 meter dipole fed with 450 ohm open ladder line.
Okay, I got you. I was confused on that. Okay, very good. All right, let's see who else is in there. Give me a call. This is Whiskey 5, Kilo Uniform Bravo.
Whiskey Delta 8, Italy, Oscar, Lima. Whiskey Delta 8, Italy, Oscar, Lima.
Oh, yeah, I got you. WDAIOL, W5KB. Pretty good signal. It's just we got a lot of static down here and some QRM, but we hearing you. How you hearing us up here? Okay, man, I bet this sounds terrible on the show here. I think you said you're hearing us like 5 and 7 up there. Okay, well, man, maybe, I don't know. We'll check out 20 here in a minute, and let's just see if we can pick a few more people up real quick. See who else I missed. I know there was some more in there, so call now. This is W5KUB.
Yeah, Tom, we're not really hearing their audio so much. It's kind of chopping in and out.
I didn't get that. There was another person there. Let me try a vertical antenna, see if that's any better. So give me a call again. All right, I didn't hear anybody that time. We'll listen again. Anybody out there, give us a call. This is W5KUB. I think it's a 4. That's all I got. The static crashes are just killing us, man. They're just killing us there. Any other people out there trying to get in here? This is W5KUB. Man, I hear you, but I cannot make it out. I cannot make it out there. I wish we didn't have the static here tonight. I think we'd be able to talk to a lot of people here if we didn't have the static. Maybe we got some rain or something coming in. We hadn't had any rain here in like 28 days. We need it, so I'm not going to get upset if there's a storm coming this way. All right, I'll listen one more time, and then maybe we'll try a different band and see what we can do on a different band. Who knows? 20 may be quiet. We'll try that in a minute. Anybody else out there? This is W5KUB. Man, I think I heard a Delta Ontario, but I heard a 4 kilo. I think I heard a 4 kilo Alpha. So let's try it one more time. I'll try really hard to get you this time. Over. Oh, I got you. Victor 44. Victor 44 Kilo Alpha Oscar. This is W5KUB. How you doing, man? Okay, I didn't get much. I am so sorry. I didn't get much there. But I can hear you in there, and I'm trying to think where Victor 44 is. Victor 44, I think that's the Caribbean. Somewhere in the Caribbean, but I don't know exactly. Maybe somebody can put that in a chat room where Victor 44 might be. Over. Okay, real fine. I copied your call fine, but that's about all I got. I'll say 73 is Victor 44 Kilo Alpha Oscar. Thanks for calling. At least somebody from outside the U.S. called us. I think that's the Caribbean somewhere. All right, one last listen, and we'll try a different band. This is W5KUB. Okay, I tell you what. Let's see what 80 meters sounds like. Let's see what 80 might sound like, and maybe make a couple contacts there. I'm going to look around 3810. I'm going to go to about 3810, and we're going to look there. This is W5KUB.
I put one in behind this other one. I got it set up to where I go bypass on this one and go to my tuner on the other one, and it's already set for 10 meter.
Well, it appears.
I bypass and do vice versa, or bypass on both.
It appears that 3810 is in use.
Except for here.
Let's see
This is the one I really have to tune for.
what else we got up here. We're going up. 3812, 1338. Well, we got somebody on 3816. Let's see. Tell you what, 3819 sounds pretty empty. So I'm going to tune up on 3819, and we'll give it a shot there on 80. Let me tune up here. All right, we're gonna see if we can make a call there. We're gonna be 3819. 3819, guys. A lot of static here too. Okay, here we go. All right, anybody around on 3819? This is Whiskey 5 Kilo Uniform Bravo, W5KUB. Yeah, I heard a KM, something with a Z in there. I think I'll be able to copy. All right, we got static down here too. Give me the call again at KM station.
Kilo 8, Charlie Alpha Zulu down.
All right, K8, Charlie Alpha Zulu. This is W5KUB. You got pretty good signal. You're louder than the static here. Do you have a high static level up there too?
That's affirmative. We do. I'm up in Dayton, Ohio, and a lot of static on 80 meters as well as 40 meters. So that's the way it is. But I'm hearing you loud and clear. You're in Tennessee. I'm in Ohio. It's fairly close.
Okay, well, Dayton, Ohio. That's one of my favorite places. We've been going up there for 39 consecutive years now to the Hamvention, and we've really enjoyed every year that we've gone up there, and kind of feel like we're part of that up here. All right, well, very good. Anybody else on frequency? This is Whiskey 5 Kilo Uniform Bravo.
Norway 7,
There's a couple in there. Let's try again. I'll see if I can pick you out. Hey, Bruce, I hear you. Yeah, about signal about like on 40. The static is kind of covering you up. N7XGR, Bruce. This is W5KUB. How you hear us up here, Bruce?
You're about 15 over. You're 15 over. 15 over. Say 80 meter off center set. 80 meter off center set. 15 over.
Okay, I just saw in the chat room that Bill says we're about 20. I think, yeah, he said 20 over in Huntsville there. So that's good. All right, well, Bruce, stand by. Let me see who the other person was. Who else is out there? This is W5KUB.
And 0 RSA. 0 Delta 5.
All right, I think N0 RIC's in there. How you doing?
Hello, Tom. I'm running 50 watts. My amp keeps kicking out SWR. Too high down here. My amp is set up for 63.
Well, your 50 watts is doing pretty good there. At least you made it in here tonight. Very good there. It was a KD5. Who was a KD5? All right, KD5 PUR. Man, we got you on 2 bands tonight. How you hearing us on this band? Is it any better?
You're hitting 20 over.
Okay, only 20 over. Man, I need to work on my antennas, and I don't know. I guess I'm getting too old, Andy, to get out there and work on them. I did go out there on 80 yesterday, and I added about 1.5 feet to one end of my dipole, and that brought the SWR down to about a 1-to-1 near this frequency here. So I don't know. I just I don't have the energy to get out there and get up in those trees like I used to. Over.
I was up on the roof yesterday disconnecting. We had a nasty thunderstorm headed this direction.
Well, I always leave all my stuff disconnected here in the shack, just in case of thunder, lightning and so forth. I've been hit over 58 years. I've been hit a couple times, and even if you leave the antenna off, sometimes lightning still gets you. My last lightning strike was it came in through the phone lines, I think the power lines, and it fried. It fried part of my radio. I think I had a phone patch plugged in or something. Nowadays, when I turn my power off to my desk here, I turn both sides, the neutral and the hot side, I turn both of those off with a big knife switch. Over.
Yeah, I just pull apart when you get back. I have to go outside to disconnect this thing. Too much trouble to get to the back of the radio.
Okay, Andy. Well, I tried 3 different antennas on you, and all 3 of them sounded almost identical. A lot of static. I tried a halfway vertical. I tried my extended double ZEP, and I also tried a 80 meter dipole, and they were all pretty bad. Let me see who else is in there, Andy, real quick. I'm actually picking a few people up here, better than I was on 40. So. Who else is out there and trying to get in? This is W5 KUB.
54, Bravo, Tango.
Yeah, W4, Bravo, Tango. Nice signal. W5 KUB.
W5 KB is 54, Bravo, Tango. David, southeast of North Carolina, about 48 miles northwest of Wilmington, 44 miles southwest of Fort Bragg, about 75 miles dead off the coast.
Well, David, I hate to say this. I'm a veteran, and I hate to say this, but it ain't going to be Fort Bragg any longer. What do you think about that? Over.
I don't know. They're thinking about changing the name of it again, ain't they?
Well, I saw on the news yesterday they're going to change the name of 16 military bases. Fort Bragg was one of them. Over.
Yeah, I don't understand all that. Don't make sense to me. Give me a signal. I've been playing with my amplifier up here, and if you don't mind, give me a signal report.
Yeah, you're running about close to a 10 over S9 here. Over.
Roger, you're over a 5.9. You're just 5 over 5.9, somewhere about.
Okay, well, very good. All right. Well, hey, I love North Carolina. We've got a home over there in western North Carolina in the Blue Ridge Mountains over there. And in fact, I think my wife's planning a trip over there soon. I think I'm probably going to stay here. I've got some things here to do, but we've got a place over here in North Carolina. So we're half North Carolinians. Over.
Yeah, Roger. You stay over in Tennessee?
What was your question?
Where you living at now? Tennessee?
Yeah, we're just outside of Memphis, Tennessee, in Collierville, Tennessee, and we've got a home over in Tuckasegee. You probably never heard of that, Tuckasegee. And let me take you up the road about 10 minutes to a bigger town. It's called, Tuckasegee. Oh, it's called Cullowhee. These are all Indian names. You probably never heard of Cullowhee. If you go a little bit further north, you'll get to Silva, and that's where the Lowe's is. Over.
Yep, I kind of know where you're back at over there. Back over next to Maggie Valley, back up that way.
Yeah, Maggie Valley exit off of the interstate will take you down there. It's probably 45 minutes from Maggie Drive.
Yeah, we used to go up there and go to Maggie Valley and go to all those places back up that way, thunder around a little bit. So we kind of got an idea where you're at. Matter of fact, we used to go up there and camp out on the reservation.
Okay, yeah. Well, we're about an hour southwest of Asheville. Well, very good, David. Hey, good signal. Right now, you're holding the lead on signal right now. So, hey, thanks for checking in, man. I don't know if you watched the show tonight or not, but thanks for checking in here. Anybody else? I know there's some others out there. This is WFI KUB.
All right, we'll get out of here. I got to go take a shower. David, please take care. Thank you for coming back to me and giving me a signal report there. We'll catch you later, maybe.
Okay, David, he doubled with whoever was in there. So give me a call again. I didn't get it. Let's try it again. I got WA0, Charlie Bravo Kilo. Is that right? This is W5 KUB.
Yeah, that's right. That's in Nebraska. Town of Potter. We're about 76 miles east of Cheyenne, Wyoming. Over.
Okay, well, very good. I copied you fair. The static is just really bad here again tonight, just like 40 was earlier. Let's see if there's anybody else out there. The band's not good enough just to rag chew here, but it's fun seeing how many people that maybe are able to connect here after the show. So who else is in there? This is W5 KUB. Did I hear Tim in here? Tim, was that you? HRO, was that you? Yeah, okay, I hear you in here, Tim, but boy, static crashes are pretty bad. Your signal's not real strong. If I didn't have the static, I could talk to you. But thanks a lot for trying there. Anybody else? This is W5 KUB. Boy, all my antennas are staticky tonight. I thought maybe I could pick one and sound a little better. Didn't pull anybody out. I can hear people in there, but they're very, very weak. I'll listen again. W5 KUB. I heard a kilo and a papa, maybe an alpha. Yeah, KD8 PAX, KD8 PAX. I got you, W5 KUB. A little bit of difficulty, but we pulled you out there.
Yeah, we're good to respond. Your signal report is a 5920 over. 5920 over. It's about 20 miles south of Frankenmuth, Michigan. Back to you.
Okay, I don't know if you copy, let's see. Well, I'm down to 100 watts now. I don't know if you copy me at this power level. I changed antennas and my amplifier kicked off. My amp kicked off, so I'm probably greatly reduced in my signal strength right now. KD8 PAX, do you still copy? W5 KUB.
Yeah, I still got a copy on you there, Tom. You're still 10 over. You're still 10 over 9. I was going to say the handle on this end is down in Delta Hospital, November. We're about 20 miles southeast of Frankenmuth, Michigan, back to you.
Okay, all right, real fine. Yeah, I switched to a halfway vertical that was hearing you a little better, but the amplifier cut out. Anything 2 to 1, and of course it probably wasn't tuned exactly perfect for this other antenna. So anything over 2 to 1, the amplifier will cut out, and it will not come back on for about 3 minutes. So I'm in the I'm in jail for 3 minutes here. KD8 PAX W5 KUB. Okay, well, I'm going to take a look here in the chat room and see what people are saying. Let me check the chat room and I will be back. This is W5 KUB. We are back now. We were in the penalty box here for 3 minutes. Anybody else out there want to give it a try here on 80 meters? This is W5 KUB. No, I'm sorry. I heard somebody, but just couldn't pull you out. Hey, let's just, I don't even know if 20 meters is even active. Let me check 20 real quick and see if 20 is dead. I'll be right back. Don't go away. This is W5 KUB.
Gary, hear anybody?
Okay, this is Whiskey 5 Kilo Uniform Bravo. All right, 20 meters sounds mostly dead. There is no static. There's no static. I do hear a couple signals, not many. Let's try 20. Let's try 20 meters. I'm going to get on there barefoot. I'm not going to crank the amp up or anything, but let's try. Let's go to 14,230. 14,230 on 20. And see if anybody can make a contact on 20 meters. This is W5 KUB. This is Whiskey 5 Kilo Uniform Bravo, W5 KUB on 20 meters. Anybody around? This is Whiskey 5 Kilo Uniform Bravo, CQ, calling CQ 20, CQ 20. Calling CQ. This is W5 KUB, Whiskey 5 Kilo Uniform Bravo. Surely there's somebody out there on 20 meters that can reach us. We're on 14-230. Hello, CQ 20. Calling CQ 20 meters. This is W5 KUB, Whiskey 5 Kilo Uniform Bravo. Calling and listening. Hello, CQ, calling CQ 20, calling CQ 20 meters. Whiskey 5 Kilo Uniform Bravo, W5 KUB. Okay, guys, that was a interesting experiment tonight. We were able to hook up with a number of you. Let me get back over here in the studio, and we'll just see how things are going here. We got just a few minutes to remain on. All right, we are back. And I didn't hear anybody. There was a couple of signals. They were fairly clear, not strong, but clear, and no static I was hearing on 20. But didn't hear a single person call me, so I guess none of our viewers out there. Oh boy, did I get on the slow scan TV calling frequency? Oh boy, they're going to send me to jail for that, I guess, Well, I try to abide by, the, what do you call it, the channel, what do you call it? Or the channel where, they say this is digital, this is voice, this is CW, this is, the allocations. Of course, we know that is not a FCC regulation, so it's not illegal for me to make a call on 14-230, but if the band was real active, I would have probably been competing against some slow scan TV, which would not have been good. All right. I heard a number of people, hey, man, tonight we had Tim, WV8HRO, Bruce, N7XGR, K8CAZ, WD5PUR, WD8IOL. Man, it keep going. CAZ, Bruce again, N0RIC, PUR again, BTT, WA0CBK, WD8PAX, and a bunch of more. So we worked a few of you guys, I don't know if how many people called me that maybe did not watch the show tonight. There may have been one or two there, I suspect, that did connect with us there. We tried several different antennas tonight. We tried the double ZEP is the antenna I was on most of the time. The double ZEP is actually it's cut for 40 meters. It's a 40 meter double ZEP. And what it is it's a 5/8 wavelength on each side. It's a doublet, but it has 5/8 wavelength on each side. That's quite large. And then it's fed with open line coming down to a legal limit tuner outside. And it's up about 90 feet in the air. So these two 5/8 antennas or legs up there, they're about 174 feet long. That's all I could get in my 1 acre yard here, about 174. But it will tune pretty good just about on any band. The tuner out there, I just hit it with a little bit of RF, and it will immediately tune it down to near a 1-to-1 SWR. So I was using that. I tried a couple other antennas. I've got, for the show, we built a 3/8 wavelength vertical, and we built a half wave vertical. And I tried both of those. They were up, still, they were picking up a lot of static. I've got I was on 80 meters on an inverted V, up it's probably about 40 feet. That's what I was using on 80. So the antenna I was on most of the time was the extended ZEP antenna. You know what? I need to turn off the mic over here. Let me turn it off. So hopefully I had a wireless mic over there at the speaker of the radio, and you were hearing all that other noise that was on there. Let's see what's going on in the chat room. Still, however, I shouldn't have static now. Let's see. Yeah, I was bad. I was on the calling frequency, SSTV. No one got mad. Hey, I would have moved if somebody said something. I would have moved. It's kind of funny. We were going to make a contact with someone here this past year, and somebody came on and says, we've been using this frequency for 15 years. And I thought, well, okay. I said, you really don't own it, and you weren't using it, but I'm going to be Mr. Nice Guy, and I'm going to QSY and let you guys have the frequency. So anyway, that happens sometimes. Let's see. I didn't hear you, Bruce. Didn't hear you at all. Let's see. Try 60 meters. Well, yeah. I'd have to get the book out to see how to get on 60 meters. 60 meters in this ICOM radio are 60. Is that the 5 megahertz 60, or is that the 10? Well, the 10 is CW only. 10 megs is CW only. If that's the 5 meg band, for me to get on it, it's channelized, and it's in memories that I will have to get my book to see how to get there. But I hear people talking on the 5 meg band quite often. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, if I'd whistled, I could have sent one. I worked in telecommunications for many years, and back in the early days, you could whistle the tone. You could whistle a tone and make the modem at the other end answer you. That was kind of cool, Let's see. Yeah, Bruce, in my 7610, I don't think I have to program the frequencies. I think they're there already. I just have to go to a memory, and they're there, and I just don't remember how to get there. But anyway, yeah. Okay, but I was the strongest. Bill says I was the strongest on 75 meters. Okay. David heard me on both 80 and 40. Yeah. Yeah. So if you're out there listening right now on shortwave, you probably wonder what's going on. Well, this is a show about ham radio. And we basically had a formal show the first hour. This last hour, we actually tried to get on the radio and talk to some of our viewers out there. And we did connect to a number of people that were watching the show. Band conditions were not great tonight. A lot of static tonight on the band, so it made difficulty in hearing people. But, I hope it does rain soon. We hadn't had any rain in about 28, 29 days. So someone said it's raining over in Arkansas. That's the state just Arkansas is only 20 miles west of us, so hopefully we'll get some rain through there, you know. Yeah, the after the show was on the radio tonight. That's for sure. That's one thing. Look at there. There's two of me. Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, enough of that. Okay. So, hey, if you're out there listening on shortwave, that's what it is, a ham radio program. We're glad you tuned in and you're listening out there. If you'd like to join us, we're on every Tuesday. If you're on shortwave, you're listening actually on Thursdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time on 7490. But if you'd like to join us, our live show is on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And you just go to w5kub.com and you can join the show, you can watch the show, you can, we have a chat room where you can join the chat room and watch and communicate with us and others there. You know, hey, ham radio's changed a lot since I got in. Look, here, this is my first receiver right here. That's my first receiver right there, 80 through 6 meters. Look at that. That was a pretty neat little receiver, little helicopter receiver. Each of those bands was just strictly a ham radio band. So that was kind of neat. And back in the 60s when I got my license, as a novice, I could work code on 80, 40, and 15 meters. But I also held simultaneous a tech license, and I was able to get on 6 meter voice. And the bottom band here was 6 meters, and you can see that the band spread on there. You know, that's 4 or 5 inches long for each band. So it was a pretty neat receiver there. It did me good. I miss those days. I see these things at the Ham Fest. I'm thinking, what did I do with mine? I don't even remember what I did with it. I'm thinking maybe I should buy one at the Ham Fest and get my old rigs back, but I probably wouldn't use them. I mean, there's been a ton of changes in 50-something years, and to the better. You know, ham radio's come a long ways just in the time that I've been in ham radio. Let's see. Okay, well, Bruce, I guess maybe I programmed them into the radio. I did not remember doing that. I'll have to look and see. But that extended double zip would probably work very well for the 5 meg band up there. Yeah. 7650. I don't know what Mark's saying. I see what Mark's saying. Yeah, hey, our shortwave listeners. Hey, man, I wonder, man, I might get thrown in jail for that. Mark brought up a good point. I was calling CQ on 7490 kilohertz. Actually, it was a show. I think legally I can get by okay, but it did probably sound interesting if you tuned across 7490 outside the ham band. You probably heard me calling CQ and using a ham call. That was interesting there. Yeah. Some slow scan coming on over there right now. So yeah, you're right. I was on the slow scan frequency. Man. 'Yeah, Bill, that was a good receiver. I really enjoyed it. My guys, the first contact I ever made when I got my novice license, I didn't know much. My receiver was a standard AM shortwave Westinghouse 9 transistor radio. It was about this big, had a handle on it, had a whip you pull up. And it wasn't made for ham radio. It had shortwave band on it. But guess what? The 80 meter ham band was just about a ½ inch long there, and it had no BFO in it. So you wonder how I made a contact. I actually made a contact on it. I didn't know there was another ham temporarily in my little town. and I called CQ, and he answered me on CW. He was a general, and I had a signal generator tuned to the frequency near the frequency I was receiving on, and that made a beat note, and it allowed me to hear CW. And I didn't copy much. I was so excited, and I wasn't copying it well and all that. So anyway, that was my first contact. Was on I think a 9 transistor general coverage Westinghouse receiver that was made for that. So right after that, we went out and got this SX140 here, and I used that many years through my novice years, and also in the early general days, we were on AM, and my transmitter was a 150 watt AM CW transmitter, and I actually built a plate modulator for it. It was 150 watts plate modulated, and it had a VFO in it. It was a T150, a Knight T150, and that's what I paired up with that receiver right there. Oh man, what a night! Okay, we got about 2 minutes till our show ends on shortwave. I want to thank everybody out there for tuning in tonight. Thank you if you're out there listening on WBCQ on 7490. I'd love to have you again next week. Shoot us an email if you can. Tell us where you are in the world and how you're hearing the station. Just send that email to tom@w5kub.com. Make a note here, guys. We're on every podcast carrier out there: Google Play, iNet Radio, iTunes, you name it, we're on it. You can download or listen to our show anytime if you listen to these podcasts. Join our Facebook group. It's called W5KUB. We got about 13,000 members in the group, so join that. And you can visit our website. Our website is called W5KUB.com. W5KUB.com. We'd love to have you visit our website there. So 73, everybody, and we will see you next week. Thank you.